Yo, 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 people. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Football Heritage with me, your boy Josh, Denzel, and Sarab. Yeah, you might know the usuals like comment, subscribe, and share with your people. That might be coming through later on. Man had a bit of an issue, so watch out for that. But yeah, let's get straight into it. Obviously, you know what? I won't lie to you guys. Saturday, I tried doing the match of the day challenge, innit? Where I don't watch none of the games. I don't keep up with any of the results. So when I watch match of the day, it's just all fresh in it. It nearly worked because I found out about Chelsea's one, and then I kind of found out about Man City's one because I didn't go on my phone at all for the whole day towards the end, and then I saw a snap of Kane celebrating, and I kind of knew Tottenham had won or something like that. So it's just like that. The challenge is difficult. Like you have to literally not be at a yard for the whole day probably for it to be like good. And even then, you know how in the UK football is just big in it. You're gonna hear it from somewhere.
Yeah, you're gonna get notifications from somewhere.
Exactly. So maybe like 10 years ago it would have been easier, but nowadays it's just everywhere. But speaking about Kane, apparently he dropped a masterclass, and what I saw from that day looked like he did. Tottenham 3, Man City 2. Big surprise there because people would have thought that Man City would have walked all over Spurs, but it didn't. It wasn't the case. So you two watched it, isn't it?
Half of it, yeah.
All right. Let me start with Denzel. Just give me an insight of the game and like Spurs' game plan and how well it worked and what kind of went wrong for City.
The game plan was just typical Conte ball, to be honest. Sit back, defend, try and hit on the break. But they were very effective when they did it. They could have scored more than 3 goals, to be honest. They could have scored 5. I can't lie. Kane, absolutely masterclass. Him dropping it, obviously he does his normal thing, dropping in deep, letting the wingers bomb forward, playing it. I like, but he controlled the whole game.
Best striker in the world?
I think he hasn't had a season to warrant that. I don't think so. I feel like that's a bit premature. He had like one good game. Well, he's coming back into form, but he's had one spectacular game. Let's not get ahead of ourselves now. So he's the best in the world. So with Man City, they dominated possession, but it's what you do with the possession at the end of the day. Like there were pressure areas in Tottenham towards the end of the game. When they got the equalizer, I thought it was game over. And then obviously Kane came up with the goods at the death. So I thought they just execute the game plan well. I feel like they have Man City's number because if they did it earlier in the season as well. So it looks like they have City's number when it comes to game plans and tactics. Tottenham just had a game plan. People knew what they were going to do and they executed it well. They were clinical in their finishing as well. Like I said before, they could have had a couple more goals, but scoring 3 goals at the Etihad, you have to be clinical to do that. So you have to give credit to Tottenham.
I hear that. What about you, Sarah, from what you saw? What was your...
Yeah, I think Denzel hit it quite well. They were very, very clinical. Like they only had like 4 shots on target and they scored 3 goals. Or something like that. I think, but City had like over 20 shots and only mustered like 4 on target. So, you know, that shows like how clinical Tottenham were. And I think from what I remember, City did it because one of City's goals was a penalty. Like they didn't really create any clear-cut opportunities, to be honest. I thought Kulusevski and Son played really well as inside forwards. They went high very well when Kane dropped deep. I thought Sessegnon as well playing. I think he made his debut at wing back for Conte the other day. So that was a very good performance from him. And I also think Bentancur and Højbjerg potentially could be a very, very good double pivot. I said Bentancur going to Tottenham was a very, very good signing. I'm surprised any other clubs didn't go for him. They played really well, really dirty, crunching in the tackles, stopping De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo from linking up and doing their thing. I think, this is turning into a bit of a habit because every season now, Tottenham seems to get a result against City for the last 3 or 4 years, ever since that Champions League game. They've been on them. In terms of City, they did what they normally do. They kept them high. contained Spurs really in their own half, but Kane did what he needed to do. And the title race potentially is back on. It's very, very likely now that it's back on with Liverpool's game in hand. I still think City are the favourites, and I still think they would due a loss eventually. Conte v Pep is always a very good game. Someone always wins, so good game.
So I got 2 questions I want to ask you guys. So the first one, let's go with Spurs and then we'll go on to Man City. So with Spurs, obviously we saw the connection between Kane and Son was incredible, and they're now the joint most goal contribution or goals.
As a duo.
Yeah, as a duo in Prem history. Are those 2 enough to guarantee top 4 for Spurs? Or would you still say potentially Arsenal, United are still above them? What are we saying, Sarah?
I think manager-wise, just those 2 on their own, if they stay fit, because we're banking on Kane having a very, very good second half of the season because he's had a shocker first half. And obviously Son's come back from injury. I still think United have a bit more. They have a lot more to offer. I still think that they're 2 or 3 gears behind. I think Ragnick's slowly but surely going to get them clicking. I think they'll just miss out. I think 5th is where they'll finish.
So you think they'll come above Arsenal?
Yeah, I think they'll finish above Arsenal.
Denzel?
With Tottenham, they lack consistency. That's the issue with Tottenham. If they find consistency, then I don't see a reason why they shouldn't get top 4, because they have the best manager out of the people in the top 4 battle.
Yeah.
So you think they would, but at the same time, you have to look at even West Ham. You have to look at West Ham. You have to look at the Arsenals, the Wolves, even United. But United don't really have that consistency to them. I'll say United and Spurs are in similar positions in terms of the consistency, but at least West Ham and Arsenal so far have shown some level of consistency throughout the season. But then again, those 2 teams have a history of capitulating in the second half of the season, but so do Spurs. So I don't know with them. It's hit and miss. It's hit and miss with them. I really don't know, because if Conte gets them playing the way he wants to play, and if they find obviously you have a system of Conte, but if they can buy into that system, then they should realistically be making top 4, because everyone at the moment just letting everyone else through. And it's a given that the other teams in the top 4 battle, like United, like us, will drop points. So if they stay consistent, they will. I think it's just whoever stays the most consistent, really.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
You'd back Conte to grind out results. Anyone to get a 1-0 is Conte, and Tottenham and Arsenal, they both have 3 games in hand over West Ham and United. So that's
quickly, I want to answer. I didn't even answer the question: is Kane and Son enough? No, because of last season it wasn't enough. So they need a bit more.
But last season they did have Jose, and Conte in 2022 is a much better manager than Jose.
Yeah, okay, fair point. But
that gives them
Kane was firing on all cylinders last season, and it still wasn't enough. And Kane hasn't even been that amazing this season. So I don't know. I feel like they need a bit more from the other players.
I think right now I still put Arsenal as the favourites, because I feel like United are too. Yeah,
but Arsenal? I don't know if Arsenal have that gear where they can go. I still think United have a couple of gears to go up. We know that they have a couple of gears to go up.
But are they going to find the gears under Ragnick though? That's the thing. And I don't see
Sam, the question is whether we find that gear or not. If Arsenal have found their top gear or whatever they want, and they're consistent with it, maybe we can go up a couple gears, but we haven't done that. So it's shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like,
and then really for United, the guy that you got to look at to really push them is probably Pogba, isn't it? Pogba's like going to be the guy in it, because Bruno hasn't been bad this season anyway, but
Bruno's actually been decent this season. It's a myth that he's had a bad season, but
he's been more creative. He hasn't been going making those late man runs as much.
But we don't have to talk about United right now. But let's stick to Spurs. and then see.
You're not happy with your win. You're not happy with your win.
Oh, we can get to it later if that's on the topic agenda. But right now, let's just focus on the other team.
Saying nothing, man. United fans are scarred.
Talk about United too much.
No, we can go there if you want to.
No, we don't want to talk about your club. Don't worry. We don't want
We
to
can, but
Yeah.
let's go on to City, I think.
Yeah, let's go to the other half of Manchester. And then the question I want to ask is about De Bruyne. Does he kind of take away from their control in a sense where, because I feel like he's probably the most like risky player they have on their team, if you get what I mean. Like, especially those balls that he puts in the box. And then I just don't think he's probably as good as he once was as an overall player. Do you think, in a sense, he does kind of take away from them a bit? Like, they don't have the same fluidity or control when he plays? Or do you think that it's a myth? Denzel?
Everybody knows what I think about Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's a good player, but I think that he's massively overrated. But at the same time, I would say with City, they have a very specific style of play. They have very specific patterns of play. And sometimes we saw it in the Tottenham game. It's once you hack the style of play and the pattern of play, it's kind of like they don't know what to do. They're just passing the ball about, tiki-taka, whatever you want to call it, passing the ball, pass the ball, take a couple shots. Like, you know what they're going to do. It's just a matter of whether it's just a matter of whether it's going to wear you down or not. Spurs, we saw it and wear them down. Now with Kevin De Bruyne, with the risk thing that he said, I don't think he's a risky player. I feel like I've heard a couple people say he's a robot, and I would kind of agree with that. I don't think he takes risks.
Like compared to other Man City players, I feel like he probably...
Yeah, I do know what you mean, Josh. I feel like for example, in the Spurs game, a lot of his sort of chance creation was stop, start. He'd get the ball, stop, look up, put a half-yarded cross into the box. It wasn't like Gundogan or Bernardo who would be linking up Foden. Do you know what I mean? It's not he isn't like connecting players he used to. He's looking for a straight ball into the box for Sterling or something. But I think injuries as well have hampered him over the last 3 years, potentially. But the system speaks for itself, innit? So they have players that will just go on like a 10-game run, Gundogan, Silva, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you look at their best form, it did come without him. And it was the same last season as well when they went on their run. Like, he was kind of in and out.
I do think, though, people make a big deal like he has to always play. He is the best player. If he's their best player in moments, but I don't think he's
not their best player.
He's not pivotal. He's not pivotal to their success. Like, they got to the Champions League final. They didn't need him. They had Mahrez bagging the whole competition.
Mahrez is a funny guy. Apparently, he's got like 18 goals this year.
This is his best season.
Yeah, he's cold.
Like, he's doing sick this year.
Yeah, not for me, but fair enough. Title race is back on. We're saying. Yeah,
that's. I love to see it because there was the conversation going about that the Premier League is actually the real Farmers League, because Man City always run away with it and rat-tat-tat. But I feel like we got a little bit carried away on the City train. I feel like everybody forgot what the Premier League was about. And boom, we're in late February and the title race is back on again. A couple months ago, everyone said City are running away with it. There's no way on earth that anyone's even going to get close to them. So it just shows how beautiful the Premier League is. I don't want to see no Premier League slander saying that it's a one-man league and City always run away with it we have a title race again. Obviously, two teams I hate, so whoever wins, I'm not going to like it. But there is a title race on, and this league has the best to offer, in my opinion. So yeah, it's a good thing for the league, and it's a good thing to see competition.
Fair enough. I still put City as the favourites. But yeah, Liverpool are dangerous, isn't it? Liverpool.
Yeah, they have more depth now. So we're going forward anyway. They have a lot.
I always said the Liverpool depth thing, that people overdid that. So because of one side and then Diaz, apparently these guys have unbelievable depth.
No, I said they have more depth. I didn't say
more quality depth.
They always had good depth, but they just needed another winger to deputise for like Mane.
And they have Harvey Elliott back as well. So they got two players back. No, he's been injured the whole season, basically.
And before that, had Genie anyway. So, like, Liverpool have had quite good depth for a couple of years, but it was just the attacking one. The attacking depth.
Yeah, they have better attacking depth now.
Yeah,
Okay,
they have
say
better.
that.
But yeah, that's gonna help them a lot having Diaz now, because obviously that's gonna push Mane now. And then
Mane needs pushing, man. His numbers have been poor for a couple of years. And it'd be interesting to see what happens when they play each other as well, City and Liverpool in a couple of weeks. So.
And Salah as well. Salah, when he wants his contract, you can tell. You know, so
he deserves it.
Yeah, Liverpool have a lot of motivation. Obviously, they were saying about they haven't won a lot under Klopp, which is a fair point. So like Liverpool have a lot of motivation on their side to win, but you know how Pep is. Like Pep definitely sniffs, so they're gonna be desperate to win something. Yeah. Any final thoughts on the title race or City? Yeah,
not really. I think that the best defense will probably still win it. I think City do have the best defense in the league, so and the Wolves second. So yeah,
I like that. You mentioned Wolves. Let's touch on Wolves because
they've been doing very well.
Haven't given them any props this season at all. Bruno Lage, in his first season, he's done a very good job. Where are they in the league? I think they're
seventh.
Yeah, they're seventh, but I think they have games in.
They have 2 games in hand on West Ham and United. Yeah, on 40 points. Yeah. They've only conceded 18 goals all season. Only City have conceded less, 17. That is really good.
Yeah. What about Sarah? What's your thoughts on them?
I think they've been great. Like I thought at the beginning of the season they were really struggling because they couldn't score to save their life. So they were getting loads of draws like they normally do, and then they weren't scoring. Obviously, Jimenez came back from his massive injury. They've bought loads of wingers because obviously Neto's been out for ages, hasn't he? They bought Trincao, Hwang Yi-chan. They got Podence back and stuff like that. So no, they've been really good. And Bruno Lage, like he's a sort of like, from what I've seen, he's sort of evolved Nuno's style of play. He still keeps the 3-4-3. Sold Traore because he couldn't fit him in, but like he's rejuvenated Matinho as well. And they're just a really solid team. That Max Kilman at centre back as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an England call up because he's been really good with Conor Cody. Just a really good team. And then the goalkeeper, Jose Sarr, very, very, very good. Criminally underrated this season. It's been saving them, and it's not as even if they've been conceding loads of shots. Like we often say, like if you're conceding loads of shots, that often means you have a porous defense. But no, they've not really been conceding loads of shots. So no, well done to them.
100%. Do you see Wolves as a threat for the top 4, or they're just?
I'll be honest. I don't watch them a lot, so I can't give you like a deep insight into their team and all that. But nah, I don't see them as a top 4 threat. I feel like they'll be in maybe Europa League. They can push for that, but I don't think they're getting a Champions League spot. No.
That's still a massive achievement if they get European. So someone's going to miss out. Someone's going to get
European like conference and Europa League is tight because there's only 3 spots. 2
Europa, only 3 spots, yeah,
and 1 conference league. So, I mean,
I think Wolves might drop out. They might come 8th, but who knows? Maybe West Ham.
Wolves are above Spurs right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's actually very tight when you deep it.
And then there's a 6-point gap between Tottenham and Brighton. So it's, yeah.
Obviously, Premier League's unpredictable season. There's still a lot of the season left, but you would imagine after Spurs, those are like the guys competing for the European spots. It's going to be interesting who drops off as a result, you know. But now Wolves are doing having a very good season. Lage is doing a very good job. I think that's it for now. With Wolves, let's see how they do for the rest of the season. Let's move on to the Champions League. Let's pull up some of the fixtures. Let's even talk about some of them from last week. Remember, Denzel was saying about Messi. Messi ain't that guy like that no more, bro. He ain't that guy.
He's not that guy. I've been saying for years, it's the kid wearing number 7. He's not a kid no more, he's a man. But I've been saying it for time. He's the main man at PSG. Now everyone's eyes are open. Who people saying Neymar before? It's been it's been Mbappe for a minute now. People are finally starting to open their eyes. But yeah, he's the main man at PSG. Messi, I'm sorry to say, I'm not sorry to say, he's finished.
I'm not going that far. Relax.
He's finished.
I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far.
He's not out. Okay. Compared to what he used to be, okay, I'll say he's not what he used to be.
Yeah, no, 100%.
He's not what he used to be. He's missing penalties, ineffective in games, bit of a passenger. People been calling CR7 a passenger, but guys like Lionel Messi strolling about the pitch, letting
That's your question, Denzel.
20-something-year-old Mbappe carry the team. Yeah, it's a bit.
Do you think Messi gets away? You think Messi gets away with a lot?
Oh, he gets away with so much. Like he has what? How many league goals does he have?
2.
Yeah,
in 15 games.
Anthony Alanga has 2. Like, come on now.
But he has 5 and 6.
Fred has more. I think Fred has more goals than flipping my man over there. But he's avoiding criticism for some reason.
He does have 5 and 6.
Just interesting.
So I don't know. Maybe
it's very, very interesting how he absolves himself from criticism. But, yeah, I mean,
look. I'm not involved in no Messi slander in it. Like, look, I don't mind Messi in it. Obviously, for me, when I watch him, he's just not the player that he once was. Obviously, but he's still one of the best playmakers in the world. I just feel like, you know, he's just getting old, father time, innit? Like, he's declining, innit? So it's like Denzel was saying, it's looking like this is Mbappe's time. You know?
It's number 7's time to shine. And it was his little audition for Real Madrid. He did what he needed to do. So, yeah.
Big up my boy Marco. Marco Verratti. He dropped a masterclass, bro. Been saying that guy.
I actually think Marco is still a bit underrated. I don't think people actually fully give him his credit.
Very underrated. Bro.
Like, they don't. You never hear him being considered in the top midfielders in the world. He's consistently, whenever he's fit, he's always in the squad, always in the starting 11.
I always said, like, he's top 5 best central midfielders in the world. If he went to the Prem, he would be the best. Like, I'm sorry. Maybe you got Kante in it, but bro, the guy is...
in that role, definitely top 2, top 3.
Yeah, man. Like, the guy is incredible. Like, unbelievable player, innit? Same with Marquinhos. Marquinhos probably is the best centre back in the world, if I'm being honest. But obviously,
is he?
He's top 3.
Is he?
I do think Kimpembe is overrated slightly. I think he's very rash.
Yeah, he is rash. Very rash. Can we just deep how bad Real Madrid were? Yeah,
they were horrendous.
No shots on target.
No, but Carlo came to do like classic Jose, innit? Absorb.
Yeah, but I feel like PSG are there for the taking, you know. I feel like Real Madrid was scared. You're Real Madrid, you shouldn't be scared of PSG. Like, come on. Like, actually put in a shift, put in a game, you know. Like,
obviously, like, Benzema just came back from injury, so that didn't help. And then Vinny got pocketed by Hakimi because Vinny was very poor, you know. So their outlets kind of let them down. I don't know why they play Asensio out wide. I know he scored a banger this weekend, but he's just not a winger. You can just tell by the way he plays. So yeah, they need an Mbappe. It's clear. Like
they also need to read. Their midfield is catching up to them. I think Modric and Kroos and Casemiro, they ain't got no legs anymore. And I've been saying it for years now. They need to start implementing more players. Freddie Valverde, sign another midfielder. Like Ceballos was on the bench. Like, if these players aren't going to be used, Isco, just sell them. Why have you still got them?
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Madrid fans complaining about that midfield. They play midfield 3, right?
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of Madrid fans complaining about it, saying why aren't Valverde and Camavinga getting any playing time? Because if you spent money on Camavinga and you're wasting him.
100%. No, I agree.
Come on.
100%. City 5-0. They're good.
Not much to talk about, innit?
They're done with that one.
They always do this sort of performance. They'll smash like some middling team, then they'll struggle to they'll change, they'll play Laporte left back and then lose 5-0 or something, 2-0, 2-1. We don't talk about that. This game, Salzburg could have won 2-0
well.
Before Bayern drew 1-1. It would have been such a different tie in the second leg if they'd scored the second goal.
With Bayern, I know in the last game against Red Fur, they went back, I think they went back to a back 4 because they've been playing back 3 recently and they've just been getting exposed on the transition. But that's the thing with Bayern, they've been getting done the count for quite a minute because these man play a stupidly like intense, aggressive style in it.
I mean, Josh, if you go on the lineup, I think he played Gnabry, Sane, Coman, Muller, and Lewandowski. Yeah, like that's insane. He played just going full out FIFA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Their defense has been very poor this year. Like for what champions to be, they've been very porous at the back.
No, but they were poor last season as well. Like you could see it.
Mm.
The thing about them is that they're like a juggernaut going forward. Like they're so hard to stop. They just.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. If you can somehow soak that up to a certain level, they're there for the taking.
But Salzburg play with no fear. They're just a bunch of 19-year-old kids they're just going to play. So that's good to see. I want to write them off.
Saying that, I think they have a similar mentality to Bayern. They're very intense, aggressive on the front foot. So I guess you're kind of matching power against power in a sense. And if you catch Bayern or match them physically on the day, then you have a big chance against them. It's kind of like Liverpool in a sense. If you match Liverpool physically, you do have a chance against them. Is a big if, because they're just absolutely relentless. And even let's talk about Liverpool. I was actually quite surprised by Inter because I thought Inter would maybe I'll be naive because Inter were at home, so they probably would be a bit more front foot. But no, they pressed Liverpool well, and they obviously one thing with Italians, they do play out of the back quite well, and you saw that as well. They played out of the back quite a few times against Liverpool. I thought Brozovic was very impressive, but it's just one of them ones up top. Dzeko and Lautaro. I'm not feeling.
Do you know what's funny? It's funny when Perisic was trying to make Dzeko run in behind. Like Dzeko's not going to do that. He's like 35 years old. Lautaro as well. This was meant to be a season to step up or to see if he could actually fill some of the void left by Lukaku. He's not done it. And this guy was being linked with £100 million moves a year ago. I don't know if he's that player yet.
He's not that good. Like when I've watched him at Inter, he's a good little second striker, makes those runs in behind. You know, he's a very selfless player, but he just ain't got it. You know them ones, let's not beat around the bush. He ain't got it.
Yeah, he'll just be a very, very good striker. He'll guarantee you 15 goals a season. That's good enough.
He's kind of like obviously Griezmann's a much better player, but he's kind of in the ilk of a Griezmann where second striker, João Felix, Dybala, those types of players. No, Felix he's got it. But like these guys, like your Griezmann sort of players, where they're team. If you get what I mean? They're not. They don't stand out like that. If you get what I mean. But yeah, Denzel, you're smiling. What are you smiling at?
Felix has got it. Interesting. He hasn't shown it since he came. I know it's because if he plays in a system in which he can't express himself. But why would you go to an Atletico team if you know that?
But he's got like a 7-year contract or something.
I'm gonna say this, and he's probably gonna bag against us or something like that. But
we'll talk about you guys. We'll preview you guys. Anyway.
Yeah. Say on your say.
But
Inter played very well.
Second leg at Anfield, no away goals.
I think the Liverpool won this. Yeah, without playing particularly well.
Inter tried though. I'll give them that. So yeah, let's preview this week's Champions League matches. Chelsea versus Lille. I can't pretend that, and I like to watch other leagues, but I don't really watch Lille too much.
I don't watch them either.
I watched them a bit last season.
They still have Renato Sanchez.
Yeah, they still got Renato Sanchez. I think they sold in Kone, so I'm not sure.
They have that David. Is it Jonathan David?
Oh, Jonathan David. West Ham were living with him for ages.
Obviously, they lost their manager. Galtier went to...
He's a top manager. He went to Marseille.
No. Marseille got Sampaoli. Galtier went to Nice.
So, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Jonathan Bamba, that player. That Sven Botman as well, that centre-back, who's like really highly regarded.
Oh, Botman, yeah.
And then Yilmaz, the Turkish striker.
Yeah, he's old, man. He's old, though.
Definitely.
For him and Jonathan David have a good little partnership. So
yeah, they can cause Chelsea some problems. Where they're in the league.
Oh, they're doing rubbish this year.
They're defending champions, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 11th.
Oh, they're 11th.
That's a terrible. Why is it in France they always have terrible title defenses when it's not PSG? They always.
Monaco.
Like, I remember that year when
title
Montpellier
defense.
won, and then the next year they just had a stinker.
Yeah.
And then Monaco won, and then the next year they had a stinker, and then they always have terrible title defenses in Ligue 1.
To sustain themselves, isn't it? They have to sell players to
First.
flow.
But they didn't. Lille didn't sell that much. Who did Lille sell?
They let go of a couple players. Obviously, they let go of their manager, who was a key factor in that. They let go of Magnon. He went to AC.
Oh yeah, to AC Milan. Yeah, the goalkeeper.
Ronaldo, he plays. He's a left back for them. I don't know if he's first choice, but he went to Atletico. But yeah, they let go of a couple.
They have Ben Arthur as well and Timothy Weah. So they have good players. Just Chelsea should get a nice little win there.
Yeah. Look, as the probability shows, I think this is quite a even game.
It's a tight one, yeah. I'm going with Villarreal. I can't lie.
Villarreal have been doing well in the league as well.
You know, Juve are starting to show a bit of form. Vlahovic as well is coming through.
But they're not playing. Like, there's no players that are really playing that well. Like Vlahovic has come in, scored some goals, but the team in general is not really. Apart from maybe like Cuadrado, there's not really anyone who's like stepping up. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're just in a rebuilding stage.
They're in a massive rebuild, and they're still going to struggle to get fourth place.
Because I look at their midfield, I don't think it's great as well. Rabiot, Zakaria, and Locatelli, I don't think that's a great midfield for you.
Archer, it's okay. Yeah.
And the defense, I know Danilo and De Ligt were playing last game. Pellegrini, they're not in a great position right now. So yeah, that game's a 50-50 one. Atleti, Man United. If United were a serious team, they would walk over Athletic, but they're not.
I'm saying it now. This game is going to be an awful game to watch. I'm telling you now, this game is going to be a terrible game to watch. Yeah, it's two teams that are just unreliable. I don't know.
The tactics is going to be very interesting because, like, United still haven't really finessed their system. We know what Athletic are going to do.
If Ralph can get the players to put in a shift, then yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I don't think he can because these guys are just. Let me not go into the players too much. In fact, the difference in this one, I think, will be Paul Pogba.
So yeah, let's actually do it like this. Let's focus on United.
The difference will be Paul Pogba if we do. Yeah.
So for United, Denzel, from the team that you played against Leeds, what changes would you?
What changes would I make? I think I love Wan-Bissaka, but I feel like in this particular fixture, Atleti do sit back, so you don't need to play a defensive right back against them. So I think I'll probably start Dalot, even though I do prefer Wan-Bissaka over Dalot. I know a lot of fans disagree with that, but I do. But I would start Dalot. He's gonna go on Maguire regardless. But personally, I'd play Varane and Lindelof because I feel like Lindelof has that pass in him. Like we saw in the game against Leeds, like he was making runs forward, he was picking out passes. Like Lindelof had a very, very good game against Leeds. So I feel like Lindelof definitely deserves to start. Whether he will start or not is a different story. But yeah, I feel like Lindelof is very good at picking a pass, getting the ball through the midfield, well, pinging that ball over the midfield even. Midfield, I don't know what he's gonna do with it. I think he might do a 4-3-3. I think he might do crap. You know what? It'll be interesting to see what he does. He might do the Oli setup. Slap Pogba on the left. He could do that.
What? So you wouldn't bring in Rashford?
Nah, I don't think Rashford's gonna start this game. I think he might play a pivot of McFred because it's secure. Bruno in the 10, Pogba on the left, Sancho on the right, and then CR7 through the middle, possibly. I feel like that's... But I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting how we're going to set up. That's going to be very interesting. But I think no matter how we set up, Paul Pogba has to start and he has to be playing in an advanced position because if he's our best progressor of the ball and he makes things happen. So I know I've got onto him a lot, probably because I know that he's going to leave. So I don't really care too tough But we have to be real here. Is at the moment he's key for us. So I think the difference will be Pogba.
He's the best footballer at United, isn't it? Like, in terms of what he can offer you. So, you have to look at him.
On his day, yeah, but he's not consistent enough for me to give him that title. But yeah.
I hear you. Sarah, what are you saying about Atletico? What are you thinking for them?
Been very hit and miss this season. Their tower defense has been not very good. They won 3-0, yeah, like we could see here. They've had a lot of injuries up front as well. I think João Felix and Suarez have barely started any games together. But Carrasco's been good this year. So I think the lineup that they've got there is probably the most likely one they're going to go with. Maybe like Correa might start or something. Griezmann had a shocker of a return. Like the Griezmann saga to Barcelona, it's been awful.
He stinks.
I'm going for United win. I think United are going to win that 2-1, to be honest. I think Atleti are all over the place. Yeah.
See, with Atleti, yeah, they're just... I was saying before last season that he should have left. He won the league, and then I was thinking, all right, that's the perfect time for you to leave Simeone.
He won't ever get sacked. I'm not even
saying that he's a bad manager or anything. Like, what he's done in the game for them is unbelievable, but everybody has their time in it, and I feel like the cycle for him at Atletico is done now. I don't think they're progressing anywhere. And I just look at the signings, man. Like, the signings are just... like the type of players that he's buying and the way he plays, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you're buying Felix, you're buying Correa was there for a while.
But at the moment, there's splashed a lot of money on Lamar to play him at wing back, like random stuff like that. It's just
they're playing ball dominant players, but you're mixing sometimes between trying to be an attacking team or then being a defensive team.
Like I don't even know how many positions Llorente has played in like that team. He's played centre back, right wing, left wing, cam, striker. Like he's all over the place.
It's like he hasn't found a specific way of which he wants to go forward, and it's hurting Atleti because there's no sustainability with what they're doing, in my opinion. And I was saying, if United was serious, so maybe if this was United from last season, I would put them as favourites, innit? But with this one, Atleti, they still have the same old dog in them. They can sit back and defend, but obviously not as well.
It's at their stadium, isn't it? The first leg.
Yeah.
But there's one massive thing that is like a big thing that goes in Man United's favour is Jan Oblak has been, I saw this the other day, he's been the second worst goalkeeper in Europe statistically. Like he's been shocking. Honestly, he's ridiculously shit this year. So that's what...
what's it called? Last season they conceded like 25 goals. This season they conceded like 30.
And he was accountable. He saved more than 10 goals last year, which is outstanding, which is why they won the league. This season, completely fallen off the cliff.
Bro, he's another one. If Oblak played in the Prem, we'll be saying he's one of the best goalkeepers in Premiership.
But he's allowed one bad season because he's been so good for so long. But
he's so underrated. He's so underrated.
But this season, shocking. So Man United, they should just fire shots in, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let Ronaldo just spam like 6-7 shots.
But hey, Ronaldo.
Oh yeah, we have the UCL goal. I forgot about that. Never know. We'll see what happens. And he does have a good record against Atleti as well. We know he loves the Atleti crowd.
He's their dad still. He's their dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Because he's. Let me not talk about Ronaldo now, because I just say something that's not very nice, isn't it?
No, you might as well say it. What's not a Messi? You can go into Ronaldo. I won't.
No, there's nothing really to say in it. There's nothing really. He's a shit footballer nowadays. Like I used to say, he's an average footballer. So like you can see, he's even regressed even further now to the point where he's actually a shit footballer.
I think
you can bag you a goal.
What's it called? What was the game? Oh, we played a game before Leeds. What was the game before Leeds?
Against Brighton.
Yeah, he played well. Played very well in that game. He was man of the match.
Well done.
Did we win that game or did we draw?
You won.
The game. Yeah.
You won 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Ronaldo is watch. He's inevitable. So I'm not too worried about that. You can say what you want.
Let's move on.
Yeah, if he scores, big up to him. I'm still waiting for my goal in the World Cup knockout. Yeah. Benfica and Ajax.
Ajax win.
Yeah.
Horses, but Yeah, let me not pretend I don't know much about Benfica in it. So
Yeah, I don't watch them. I don't even know who manages them. Who manages Benfica?
Jorge Jesus, but I don't know if they sacked him. I know they had beef.
Exactly.
So
They're gonna lose all their best players again.
yeah. So yeah. Any other things that we need to mention? I don't know. I feel like.
What do we think of the away goals?
What, that being gone?
No, I'll be honest. I kind
I
of
don't-
miss it slightly. It brings more drama, but at the same time, when it goes against your team, you hate it. So
Yeah, I don't mind it not being there. I know like the first legs they were quite like the away team was just sitting in, like Real Madrid sat in, etc. But I don't know. I don't mind it.
Yeah. I like the away goal a lot. It's just unique, isn't it? Like it's just a unique concept, isn't it?
yeah, I used to hate it, but now that it's been taken away, yeah, it's interesting. Makes it interesting.
100%. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? You want to talk about your boys West Ham? Because
Not really.
a special guest now, isn't it? So when you come on, let's talk about West Ham, innit?
I mean, we weren't even like Newcastle. To be fair to them, they deserve the win. We were shocking again. Our performances the last month have been dreadful. Like I don't know how we haven't lost any game. We've lost 2 of our last 4. We've drawn our other 2 against Leicester and Newcastle. So and United have now pulled away. 4th spot. Yeah, performance has been shit. Our performance has been shit.
You're not getting top 4, lads.
We're getting tired. Soufal can't come back. We've got to play Fredericks up front. Antonio can't score for shit. But Bowen, best English winger in the Premier League at the moment.
You think it's better than Sterling?
At the moment, he's up there with Sterling. I think him and Sterling are top 2 at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one still.
You don't agree with that?
Grealish hype. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy fell off.
Yeah. I'll take Europa League.
Yeah, I want West Ham to win Europa League. It will be good for the locals.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. It'll be sick.
Good for the locals. Yeah.
Support your local.
Support your local.
But yeah, people, that's it from us this week. Usuals, like, comment, subscribe, and share with your people. Spread the word as usual. But yeah, people, we out. Peace.